Now we start with the champions and a serious question mark over their title ambitions. Despite a brilliant start to the season, injury means they now have just 3 fit centre-backs, and that situation could continue until the January transfer window. £26 million signing Giovanni Leone was carried off on a stretcher during Tuesday night's Carabao Cup game, and the fear is that he suffered a significant injury to his anterior cruciate ligament, and that type of knee injury usually requires many months of recovery. Now, interestingly, talking about Liverpool centre-backs, we've got some news just into us. This is big news regarding Marc Guehi, because we are told that Crystal Palace realistically accept that Marc Guehi's time at the club is coming to an end. We're told the club acknowledge it will be difficult to convince their captain to commit to his long-term future at Palace. As for the player himself, by the way, he's calm about the next steps. Remember, on deadline day in the summer, he saw a move to Liverpool collapse on deadline day. They were close to getting him for £35 million. However, Guehi stayed at Crystal Palace. He could, of course, go for a fee in January or for free next summer, but we are told that Crystal Palace realistically accept that his time is coming to an end, which is essentially saying they don't expect him to sign a new contract at the club. Right, Charlie Austin is our guest this morning. First of all, and that big news just into us, is it any surprise that Guehi is not going to sign a new contract?
It's not a surprise. I don't think anybody in football see that as a surprise, because he got so close for it to happening and getting his move on deadline day. Nobody realistically thought he'd sign a new deal. That's the issue. And because of the injury that's happened to Leone, now they're thinking this is definitely going to happen. So they've come out and just kind of made a statement to be like, look, we don't expect the player to sign a new deal. But it's nothing that we didn't already know. Yeah,
and but I know the obvious thing to say is, well, Liverpool need a centre-back. We know Liverpool want him. We know he was keen on Liverpool, so surely he's going to go to Liverpool, whether it be January or next summer. But he's going to be highly sought after, and his price goes down, down and down and down until it gets to the end of that contract.
Yeah,
the point where he could be free.
But I think Liverpool know that in the back of their minds, and the conversation would have happened, hence why they tried to get him in on the transfer deadline day, and probably should have done it before. Now it's going to attract a load of other clubs, to the attention of Marc Guehi. But Liverpool more than ever now show that they need a centre-half. Yes, they needed one in the summer and tried to get him, didn't come through, and they think, well, we tried January or even the summer gone. But now the injuries happen, is that force him to act even sooner?
Well, talking of the injury to Leone, now I know he hadn't been playing in the league. I know that he's one for the future, but he was a fourth centre-back. They've still got Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez. Now, that's 3 very good centre-backs. Now, if they're all fit, they probably don't have a problem. But they've got a lot of games, and they might not be fit. So have they got a problem right now? Because it's a long time till January.
A lot of games, competitions, Premier League, Champions League, League Cup, all that coming on. And we thought you've got 3 good defenders in there that can play. Now, let's be real. We have a world-class centre-half in Virgil van Dijk, who improves both of them, whoever's alongside. Then it's Konate and then Joe Gomez. Can Joe Gomez perform consistently if asked upon? I think the biggest question is obviously keeping them fit. But you need to keep Virgil van Dijk fit because he's world class, and if anything happens to him, that's even bigger issue than if something happens to Konate or Gomez.
Is your gut feeling that Liverpool will still win the title even if they have just got 3 fit centre backs? Because Leone, look, it's good. We're expecting it to be a while.
Leone would have made 4, and to have 4 centre halves, and you're like, oh yeah, could maybe one more just in case. But you're comfortable there with the 4. They do need another centre half in, and the question is can they win it with 3? You don't say if they're injury free, then of course. But if something does happen to either of them, but especially Virgil van Dijk, then
will the players in the squad be concerned about this at all? Remember that, I mean, they clearly trust their manager. The fans trust their manager. Just the other day, we talked about how when they had a problem at right back, they put Szoboszlai there, and they found a solution.
Yeah, right back,
could they put Endo Ouattara at centre back? I mean, that's just off the top of my head.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with right back. That's a situation where people say, oh, any midfielder can play at right back, etc. We're talking about centre half. very, very important position on the pitch, the spine of the team, really. So that's a hard one to put a makeshift centre half in there. And you can go all the way back. I know people say, "Oh well, Javi Mascherano played at centre half for Barcelona." We're talking that's the elite top end over in Spain.
Fernandinho, Man City, didn't
but I'm
he?
not sure that
Calvin
works.
Phillips leads. So central midfielders have.
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't think that works. I don't think that's in Arne Slot's mindset of if worst case comes, then yeah, midfielder could go in, but I'm not sure that's in his mindset to do so.
Yeah, there is a poll in the moment on the Sky Sports News X account. Will Liverpool win the league with just the 3 centre-backs? At the moment, 61% are still saying yes. So in the main, you are not too concerned about this Leone injury at Liverpool. Forget Guehi being free at the end of the season. Do Liverpool prioritise him in January?
They have to. They have to, because they now need another centre-half to make it 4. But yes, they've got 3 senior centre-backs in the squad. That's fine, and everybody can see that. But they only have 1 world-class centre-half, which is Virgil van Dijk. He makes the other 2 play really, really good and up their level. But he can also cover them. But I think Marc Guehi comes in. That gives him the 4, but he becomes the starter for me next to him because he's on the way to being world-class, Marc Guehi.
How worried would you be, or Liverpool fans should be, if Virgil van Dijk now gets injured?
That of course, that's a worry. Like I say, he's world-class. He makes them better. He makes the other 2 better. He makes everybody on the pitch better. So not just the defence. I think it's easy for Liverpool to be like, we've got the players at the top end and win games that way. But no, Virgil van Dijk is so pivotal to that whole team, that whole spine. So he needs to stay fit. And if he stays fit, Liverpool will be fine until January, and then Marc Guehi should be the #1 priority.
Oh, Connor, great to have you on again. Right, when it comes to Marc Guehi, sign him in January or wait till he's free?
Well, failing anyone getting injured, it would have been nice to get him on a free and save a bit of cash, especially after how much we spent in the summer. But it's looking less like that'll be an option now with the injury to Leone, isn't it? I think, as Charlie just referenced there, I think having 4 players for those 2 positions is going to be crucial to a title running, especially looking like it might be a bit closer this year. So yeah, I think go back in January and just maybe hopefully don't get held to ransom over it.
A lot of people, Liverpool fans, are getting in touch saying that they've got no concerns about the fact that there's Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, and Joe Gomez as well. But that is because the 3 of them are fit. Are you worried in any way?
Currently, no, and I think it's a balancing act, isn't it? It's easy to say we're not concerned about it, but Van Dijk might get injured on Saturday, and you know, Liverpool fans are haunted by the 2020-21 season when we played with whatever it was, 19, 20 different centre-back pairings, and we had Henderson and Fabinho playing there, and those moments as well. So we're all acutely aware of what can happen if a world-class player like Van Dijk goes out for any length of time, and that does massively change. Then massively changes the aspect of it. But Van Dijk also came back from that injury, and he's come back to be one of the best defenders in world football for the last 5 years. So hopefully it's the same for him.
And yeah, Con, no one can argue with that. I just think he's so pivotal to the whole operation of Liverpool, isn't he? From front to back to front, that is him. His connection with everybody. My worry is if something happens there to him, who comes in to replace him? You say Konate and Gomez, but you can't replace a Virgil van Dijk. And we can say Liverpool should have signed Marc Guehi and went for him again in the summer heavily instead of waiting right till the end. No one see the injuries coming, but also so many games. They go deep into the Champions League. You've got the cup competitions, the Premier League, where they're title favourites for it. Now more than ever, prioritising Marc Guehi in the January window is going to be the #1 target.
I would like to think so, but then, you know, as a fan, I always like to see new signings, and Marc Guehi, as you said before, Charlie, is well on his way to being a world-class centre-back, and I think is that the club hopefully has seen him as the natural successor to Virgil van Dijk as well. So I'm still hopeful that we will bring him in. But yeah, and you're not wrong. Virgil raises the game of everyone around, and we've seen that at Southampton and at Liverpool across every centre back he's ever played alongside. And I think you saw in midweek, you know, the level that Joe Gomez played at when he came on against Arsenal was vastly different to the level he was midweek against Southampton, where I felt he struggled and Leone looked the better centre back.
There's some proof on the bottom of the screen there that the camera makes me look a lot taller than I am, because someone called Dean has said Liverpool could sign you at centre-back, Tom, and still win the league. I'm 5'8.5", don't forget the half, Dean. So I don't think that's true. However, Connor, does that show you just how confident Liverpool fans are at the moment?
Well, I'm 5'9.5", so if Dean wants me to play instead, then I'll happily jump in that queue. But I don't think I'll be on the list anytime soon either. Yeah, I mean, look, there is a confidence around the club, and looking at the squad and the squad depth we've got now, and we haven't had that for a long time. You sort of look at it, and obviously nobody wants to see anyone get injured, but you look at an 18-year-old prospect centre back and say, could we afford for him to get injured and lose him for the season? And the answer is probably yes. The fact that our defensive issues have already been talked about quite a lot, and the depth in defence has been talked about even more with the Guehi collapse deal on deadline day, brings it all back into focus a little bit, doesn't it? So, as I say, I'd like to see us get him in January, but then I'm a fan. I always want to see us going after the best players.
Yeah, Connor, I'm glad you actually brought that up about Tuesday night against Southampton. Like, I just thought not having Konate or Virgil van Dijk playing in that, not on Leone, but the Gomez was the eye-opener for me. The level that I see him perform at, even at League Cup, whatever, whenever you go and play for Liverpool, you obviously get you better. I just felt like the level just dropped from there. I just felt like at times he was trying to play too much like Virgil in the way that he does, or slow the game down. And it's almost looking at it like, you're not at that level, so just keep it simple. It was so alarming watching, thinking Liverpool needs a centre-half, and that is even before the injury come. And that, for me, it was highlighted a lot that Joe Gomez is not at the starting level for me.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a concern. It was something that you could sense it being picked up on by the fans in the ground as well. That frustration with just how laid back he was playing the game, and not. I would say not even at his usual level. We've seen him come in and play a lot better than that when he's had to cover in the past. But yeah, it was, and that does. You're not wrong. It does make it a little bit more concerning now that if that's how he wants to play and wants to try and emulate Van Dijk, not quite at that level. He's got 10 years experience in the Premier League on Leone, and he looked half the player that he was before that injury. So yeah, hopefully that's a blip on his form and not not a sign of things to come if he does have to be called on again. But yeah, it was definitely worrying as a performance.
Conor, I've just got your squad up on my screen now. Something I probably should have checked earlier. I was about to ask you who else could play centre-back if there is an injury crisis. Reece Williams is still on your books. Is that a ridiculous thing? He's 24 years old. And I'm sure Stefan Bajcetic can play centre-back as well. And he's on your books as well as somebody who's potentially playing out of position. Have I just said something that's going to make Liverpool fans laugh, that they could possibly come in if there is a crisis?
No, I don't think so. No, I think, as I mentioned before, we saw in the 2020-21 season, we had, left backs, centre midfielders, attacker midfielders playing centre back. So as Liverpool fans, we've got experience with seeing these options play. But no, I think you're right. Bajcetic coming back when he's fully fit and back from his injury, he's really struggled the last few years. We're all dead excited to see him come back in and see what he can do. I'm conscious that with him, you wouldn't want to overuse him again, because I think that's what kind of brought about the injury problems for him in the first place. We've also seen Andrew Robertson play at centre back. He covered their midweek against Southampton for the last 10 minutes or so when Kerkez came on, and from centre back. From that left centre-back role, he actually put the ball through for the winning goal. So he's capable of playing there, certainly, although you wouldn't want that for an extended run of games. We've seen Endo play there as well last season. Slot's favoured Endo dropping into centre-back as well. So
Connor, after the way Endo tried to clear that header, I'm not sure he's trusted to be at centre-half, mate.
He'd be bottom of my list at the moment, after that performance.
Yeah, it doesn't. Sounds like Liverpool fans are very relaxed about this, which is quite nice to see. But Charlie, you said something in the last hour that I want to pick up on. You said that when it came to going back to Marc Guehi, you thought they maybe could have got that deal done earlier. Is it just purely because they were so focused on Alexander Isak that had to take a back seat?
Well, obviously, Alexander Isak was #1 target for Liverpool all the way through the summer, and it was just dragging on. Yeah, in hindsight, you look back, they should have done the Marc Guehi one as soon as possible, and not up to the as possible as to the level, because obviously the money wasn't there. But for me, I feel like they should have got the deal done. And even though Leone was the fourth choice and the younger centre half and learning, he could have been the fifth choice. There's enough games for him to pick up experience. So I feel like they should have got that one over the line. But ultimately, they didn't want to pay the money.
Well, Connor.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, Connor. You seem very relaxed about it, Connor, and so do the Liverpool fans. So.
Not too bad at the moment, but we are, as you've said, we're only an injury away from Van Dijk. From everyone saying exactly what Charlie's just said, we should have got it done 2 weeks earlier and £5 million more.
And it's a tough game at the weekend as well. Connor, thank you.
Cheers, thanks guys.